As a physician, if there's one thing that breaks my heart, it's watching brilliant people, people full of stories and memories, start losing their minds to damage that could have been prevented. People who built families, who traveled the world, who truly lived, and then one day suddenly they don't recognize the faces of their own children. What if I told you that the switch that could accelerate Alzheimer's might be sitting right now in your medicine cabinet or in your kitchen, disguised as something harmless, something you might be taking every single day thinking it's good for you? I'm Dr. Robert Harrison, and I've dedicated my career to brain health, but today I'm not going to give you a medical lecture filled with complicated terms. Today I want to give you a map so you can identify and deactivate these silent poisons that, according to the most recent science, are putting your memory in jeopardy without you even noticing. I'm talking about substances and habits we've completely normalized, things that are sometimes even prescribed without warning about their long-term effects on the brain. And I'm asking you to stay with me because the last of these poisons is perhaps the most surprising because millions consume it daily believing it's part of a healthy life. This could be the most important conversation you have about your future and the future of your mind. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to empower you. Because Alzheimer's in many cases is not an inevitable sentence. It's often the result of a long road of silent assaults on your brain. And today, you and I are going to learn how to stop them. Let's start with the most unexpected place, your own medicine cabinet. Millions of people take medications daily for allergies, for sleep, for anxiety, or for heartburn, having no idea that they're slowly, quietly affecting their brain. I'm referring to a class of drugs known as anticholinergics. The name sounds complex, but their effect is dangerously simple. In your brain, you have a key chemical messenger, a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Think of acetylcholine as the mailman of your memory. It's the molecule that allows your neurons to communicate so you can learn something new, remember a name, or know where you left your keys. It's absolutely vital. Anticholinergic medications, as their name suggests, block this mailman. They silence him, and when this happens again and again, day after day, for years, the consequences can be devastating. Communication between your neurons becomes slow, clumsy, and over time, those connections weaken and die. And which medications are these? You'll be surprised how common they are. We're talking about first-generation antihistamines like diphenhydramine, the active ingredient in over-the-counter products like Benadryl or in many sleeping pills. Do you take something for allergies that makes you drowsy? It's very likely an anticholinergic. But the list goes on. Certain antidepressants, medications for overactive bladder, or some muscle relaxants also have a strong anticholinergic load. A study from the University of Washington was very clear. Consuming these drugs long-term is associated with a significantly higher risk of developing dementia and Alzheimer's. And it's not a small risk. The effect is cumulative. Each pill is like one more drop in a glass. At first, you don't notice anything, but over the years, the poison accumulates until the damage can be irreversible. The most dangerous part is how subtle it is. The first symptoms aren't dramatic memory loss. They're small forgetfulness, a feeling of mental fog, difficulty concentrating, symptoms that many attribute to getting older. But no, it's not normal aging, it's pharmaceutical damage. And alongside these, I must mention another family of drugs, benzodiazepines. Medications like Valium, Xanax, or Ativan are used for anxiety and insomnia. And while they're useful short-term, their chronic use can be a catastrophe for the brain. Some observational studies have associated their long-term use with an increase in dementia risk of up to 78%. It's important to clarify that this is an association, not proof of direct causation, but it's a huge red flag. They affect memory, attention, and what's worse, they generate dependence, trapping the person in a vicious circle. So what do? Do we throw everything in the trash? No, of course not. The solution is informed action. Do an inventory. Grab paper and pencil and write down absolutely everything you take, prescribed and over-the-counter, everything. Make an appointment with your doctor with a single objective: to review your medication. Don't let it be a 5-minute visit about something else. Ask the direct question. Show them your list and ask, "Doctor, are any of these medications anticholinergic or a benzodiazepine? I'm concerned about my long-term brain health. Are there safer alternatives for me?" Explore other options. For allergies, there are second-generation antihistamines that don't affect the brain. For insomnia, there are therapies, relaxation techniques, or safer supplements. For anxiety, exercise and therapy are incredibly powerful tools. Don't let a short-term solution create an irreversible problem. Your memory is too valuable. Take control of your medicine cabinet. Now we leave the medicine cabinet and head to the kitchen because the second poison is something most of us eat several times a day, often disguised as healthy. I'm talking about sugar and ultra-processed foods. For decades, we were told that fat was the enemy. The industry responded with light or low-fat products that, to have flavor, were loaded to the brim with sugar and refined carbohydrates. I want you to think about this. Many cutting-edge scientists are already starting to call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. Listen, it's not an official medical classification, but it's a very graphic way of describing what happens in the brain. When you eat sugar or foods that quickly convert to sugar, white bread, pasta, white rice, breakfast cereals, your pancreas releases insulin. Insulin is the key that allows sugar to enter your cells to give them energy. The problem is that with the modern diet, we constantly bombard the body with sugar. The cells, from hearing insulin shout so much, become deaf. That's called insulin resistance, and it's the gateway to type 2 diabetes. Here comes the terrifying connection. Your neurons also need sugar to function, and they also respond to insulin. When your brain becomes insulin resistant, your neurons literally start starving to death. But the disaster doesn't end there. A brain resistant to insulin is an inflamed brain. Excess sugar feeds chronic inflammation that damages neurons and promotes the accumulation of Alzheimer's toxic proteins, beta amyloid and tau. In other words, sugar not only starves your neurons, but also feeds the fire that creates the garbage that suffocates them. And ultra-processed foods are the perfect vehicle for this poison. I'm talking about pre-cooked meals, cookies, sodas, processed meats, commercial sauces. This isn't real food. These are edible substances designed in a laboratory to be addictive. A study in the journal Neurology was devastating. People who consumed these products the most had cognitive deterioration 28% faster. And an important note for those taking metformin for diabetes: it's an essential medication. I'm not saying to stop it, but it's vital to know that its long-term use is associated with a higher risk of vitamin B12 deficiency, which is crucial for the brain. A B12 deficiency can cause symptoms that are confused with dementia. It's another silent poison hidden behind a necessary treatment. The good news is that you have total control over this poison. Read labels like a detective. If the ingredient list is a mile long, has unpronounceable words, or sugar with any of its 50 names is at the beginning, leave it on the shelf. Shop the perimeter of the supermarket. Have you noticed? That's where the real food is. Vegetables, fruits, meat, fish, eggs. The center aisles are the territory of processed foods. Sugar is a treat, not the foundation. Eliminate sugary drinks. They're liquid poison. Change boxed cereals for eggs. Sweeten with fruit. Prioritize good fats and fiber. Avocados, olive oil, nuts, fatty fish are the best fuel for the brain. The fiber from vegetables and legumes feeds your gut, which has a direct connection to your brain health. If you take metformin, talk to your doctor. Ask if they should monitor your vitamin B12 levels. It's a simple blood test that can save you a lot of problems. Every meal is a decision. You can bathe your brain in sugar and inflammation or nourish it. The choice is yours, 3 times a day. If what you're hearing makes sense to you, I ask you 2 things. First, join me on this channel and subscribe. My mission is to give you clear tools to protect your brain. Second, and more important, share this video. Think of someone you love, your partner, a sibling, a good friend. Sending them this video could be the greatest act of love you do for them today. You could literally be saving their future memories. Let's be an army in defense of the mind. The third poison isn't in a pill or a package. It's invisible, but its power to damage the brain is devastating. I'm talking about social isolation and chronic stress. Humans are social beings. Our brain is wired to connect. When we deny it that connection, it withers. Loneliness isn't just a sad feeling, it's a state of biological alert. Study after study confirms it. Social isolation is a tremendously powerful risk factor for dementia. Why? Because when you're alone, your brain interprets it as a threat and releases cortisol, the stress hormone. A little cortisol is fine, but chronic cortisol is toxic to the hippocampus, your memory center, which is precisely one of the first areas that Alzheimer's attacks. Chronic stress literally shrinks your memory center. Think of it this way. Every conversation is like taking your brain to the gym. You have to listen, process, remember, respond. It's a complete workout. Every coffee with a friend, every call strengthens your neural connections and builds something we call cognitive reserve. Cognitive reserve is like a spare brain. It's your brain's ability to withstand damage. Two people can have the same Alzheimer's plaques, but the one with more cognitive reserve shows no symptoms. When you isolate yourself, you stop building that protection. You leave your brain defenseless. The problem is that modern life fosters isolation. People retire and lose their social circle. Children move away. Technology isolates us. For many, loneliness becomes the norm, and in that silence, our brain loses its vitality. Fighting this requires being proactive. Connection won't always knock on your door. Schedule your social encounters just like you schedule a medical appointment. Call a friend and set a day for coffee. Put it on the calendar as something non-negotiable. Find a tribe with a purpose. Volunteering is an incredible tool. It connects you with people and gives you purpose. Join a book club, a hiking group, a choir. The key is regularity, quality over quantity. It's better to have 2 or 3 close friends than 50 acquaintances. Nurture those deep relationships. Adopt a pet if you can. The companionship of an animal reduces stress and loneliness in an incredible way. Learn to manage stress. 10 minutes of meditation or deep breathing a day can change your brain chemistry. Going for a walk in nature works, and exercise is the best anti-anxiety medication that exists. Your brain is a social organ. Don't condemn it to isolation. The fourth poison isn't a single thing, but a conspiracy of 3 killers we've started to see as things of age. I'm referring to hypertension, high cholesterol, and type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance. Separately, each is a risk. Together, which is how they usually come, they multiply their destructive power. Let's start with hypertension. Your brain, although small, takes 20% of all your blood and oxygen. To nourish it, you have a network of tiny blood vessels, some thinner than a hair. Now, imagine connecting a fire hose to the pipes of a bonsai garden. That's hypertension, brutal and constant pressure that damages and hardens those delicate brain arteries. Blood flow decreases, and your brain starts receiving less fuel. It's like trying to think clearly while someone slowly suffocates you. Now, to that damaged pipe, add high LDL cholesterol, the bad one. It's like sticky, oxidized fat that adheres to artery walls, narrowing them even more. Less blood reaches the brain, and to top off the storm comes insulin resistance. As we already saw, this means your neurons are hungry and inflamed. Put it all together. Pipes rigid from hypertension, blocked by cholesterol, and at the end, neurons that can't use the little energy that reaches them because of insulin resistance. It's a total siege on your brain, a guaranteed catastrophe. And the most tragic thing is that millions of people live like this for years, taking a pill for each thing without anyone explaining that they're sitting on a time bomb. The solution isn't just taking more pills, but changing the lifestyle that causes the problem. Move every day. Exercise lowers blood pressure, improves insulin sensitivity, and controls cholesterol. You don't need to run a marathon. Walking briskly 30 to 40 minutes a day is transformative. Adopt an anti-inflammatory diet, back to the same thing, out with sugar and ultra-processed foods. Base your diet on real food, vegetables, quality proteins, healthy fats. A diet like this attacks all 3 conditions at once. Sleep. Lack of sleep raises blood pressure and worsens insulin resistance. During deep sleep, your brain activates its cleaning system. Sleeping less than 7 hours of quality sleep is like letting garbage accumulate in your brain. Know your numbers. Measure your blood pressure at home. Get tests to monitor your glucose, glycosylated hemoglobin, and cholesterol. You can't fight an enemy you don't see. Don't accept these conditions as normal. They're alarm signals. Listen to them and act. And we arrive at the last poison. I left it for the end because it's by far the most common and at the same time the easiest to combat. It's a habit so normal that we don't even see it anymore. Sedentary lifestyle. We've become a society of sitters. We sit to work, to eat, to travel, to watch TV, and every hour you spend sitting, you're robbing your brain of its two most important nutrients, oxygen and movement. When you move, your heart pumps a torrent of oxygen-rich blood to the brain. It's like opening the windows of a closed room. Everything works better, but there's something more. When you contract your muscles, they release magical substances. One of them is a protein called BDNF. I like to call BDNF fertilizer for your neurons. BDNF helps neurons survive, promotes the birth of new neurons, and strengthens the connections between them. A brain with lots of BDNF is a plastic brain that learns, that adapts. And what's the best way to manufacture this fertilizer? Exercise. Every time you walk, dance, or lift some weight, you're giving your brain the fertilizer it needs. Being sedentary is literally starving your neurons. Inactivity, moreover, is the mother of all the other poisons. It fosters insulin resistance, raises blood pressure, worsens cholesterol, and increases stress. It's the fertile ground where the seeds of disease grow. The wonderful thing about this is that you don't need money or expensive equipment, just the decision to get up from the chair. The 5-minute rule. For every 30 minutes you spend sitting, get up and move for 5 minutes. Walk around the house, climb some stairs, do some squats. Set an alarm if necessary, find something you like. The best exercise is the one that gets done. If you hate the gym, don't go. You like music, dance, nature, walk. Gardening is fantastic exercise. The key is to enjoy it, consistency over intensity. It's much better to walk 30 minutes every day than to beat yourself up one day a week. Your brain needs its daily dose of movement. Integrate movement into your day. Use the stairs, park a little farther away, talk on the phone while standing or walking. Every little gesture adds up tremendously. Don't underestimate the power of your muscles to heal your brain. Movement is life. We've uncovered several hidden enemies in our daily lives, from the medicine cabinet to the couch. And now maybe you feel overwhelmed. Maybe you're thinking, my God, I've been doing everything wrong for years. I want you to take a deep breath and listen to me carefully. It's never too late. Your brain has an ability to change and regenerate that's amazing. It's called neuroplasticity, and it means that what you do starting today can begin to rewrite your future. You don't have to do everything at once. Choose one thing, just one. Maybe this week you decide to review your medicines with the doctor, or maybe you just decide to eliminate sodas, or call that friend you haven't talked to in a while, or simply go for a 15-minute walk after dinner. Each small step creates momentum. Each healthy decision strengthens you. You're not a victim of your age or your genes. You're the architect of your brain health. You have the power to build a stronger, more resilient brain, a brain that treasures your memories for many, many years. The information I've given you today is your map. The decision to start the journey is yours. Start today. I'm Dr. Robert Harrison. Take care of your brain. It's the only one you have.